Dear friends, this is Indra Vichatri here in the episode of Mathematics and Statistics Learning. In the previous episodes, I have discussed so many useful materials for learning mathematics and statistics. Today, in this special 25th episode, I will be discussing a long time awaited and essential tool of statistics, the normal probability calculator. Now you don't have any hassle searching for a normal table. Also need not to worry about remembering any code of technology. I am pretty sure that you can't stay without appreciating me for this excellent gift in the following link of my channel Mathematics and Statistics Clinic. Without much delay, let's browse the page. This is the page. First, let me explain in detail all the items contained on this page. The first four boxes here, labeled as mean, standard deviation, lower bound, and upper bound, respectively, are users' input boxes, where users enter their values to get the desired results. The default values are 0, 1, -1, and 1. These default values corresponds to the standard normal distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 1. Here we have a select box to select the type of probability with a default value of left. The options are left, right, and middle. Below this, we have a button labeled update probability, followed by the result box and the graphical display of the process. This app is specially designed for computing probability of a normal distribution. An important concept of this process is to calculate the probability in terms of the area enclosed between the curve, popularly known as bell-shaped curve, and the horizontal axis. The probability is measured as the area in an interval, considering the total area as 1. Since the area of a line is 0, the point probability of the normal distribution is 0 because this line does not include any area. Here we shall discuss the three types of probability: left, right, and middle in detail. We compute the left probability in an interval from negative infinity to a specified point. The right probability in an interval from a specified point to the positive infinity, and compute middle probability in an interval between two specified points in the range of the quantile. Let's jump to the procedure of finding the left, right, and middle probabilities. First, we shall find the probabilities considering these default values: mean 0, standard deviation 1, lower -1, and upper +1. That we see in these boxes. And later on, we shall use any other user input values for finding the probabilities. Here we have mean equals 0 and standard deviation equals 1. That is, we start the process with a standard normal distribution. This is the box for selecting probability type, and this has three options: left, right, and middle. The default is the left. That is, we shall find the left probability first. This -1 is the specified value here for finding the left tail probability. That is, we are trying to find the left tail probability in the interval from negative infinity to negative 1. Click this update probability button and see the result here and the corresponding visual display here in this graph. The shaded portion in this graph is the area corresponding to this probability. Change this value to any other value and click this update probability button. Notice the change in this probability result as well as in this graphical display. The shaded portion, that is the area corresponding to this probability, has also changed. Keep changing this value and keep clicking this update probability button to enjoy playing this game. Switch the selection from left to right in this selection box. You see the value 1 here in this box. That is, we are trying to find the probability in the interval from 1 to positive infinity. Click this update probability button and you see the result here in this expression as well as the visual display in this graph. The shaded area corresponding to this probability has shifted to the right tail. Change this value to any other value and click this update probability button. Notice the change in the result here and also the change in the shaded area in this graphical display here. Keep changing this value and clicking this button and enjoy playing this game. Last, select the middle from this selection box. You see here the values negative 1 and positive 1 in these lower and upper boxes respectively. Click this update probability button. You see the change here in this probability. Here we are trying to find the probability in the interval from negative 1 to 1. This is the probability of this interval and the corresponding area is shaded here. Keep changing one or both values here and click this update probability button. Notice the change in the probability here. Also the corresponding shaded area in this graphical display. Keep changing these values and clicking this update probability button to enjoy playing this game. So far, we have been focusing on finding the probability in the standard normal distribution. Now let's consider any desired distribution by changing this mean and this standard deviation. Let's consider the normal distribution with mean 120 and standard deviation of 15 and change the selection in probability type to left. And you see this lower bound box, change this value to 100. Click this update probability button and see the change in this probability expression and the corresponding graphical display. The area left of this 100 represents this probability. You can change one or more values here and click this update probability. You can see the corresponding change in this probability expression as well as in this graphical display. Keep changing these values and clicking this update probability to enjoy playing with this game. Now we change this selection left to right, and here we see the upper bound box. We change this value to 175. Click this update probability button. We see the change in this probability expression as well as this graphical display. If we change one value or all values, let's change this to 160. Click this update probability button. And we see the change in this probability as well as in this graphical display. You can change one or all values and click update probability to continue playing this game. Last, we change this selection to middle. You see this value here, lower is 140 and upper is 160. If you click this update probability button, the probability value changes here. Accordingly, the corresponding graphical display here. You can change one or other values here. If you change mean to 170 and standard deviation to 30, keep this upper and lower. Click this update probability. We see this change in the probability as well as the shaded portion on the graphical display. Keep changing the values here and clicking update probability button to continue play with this game. Isn't this interesting? Now you are very excited about this app and want to run this app on your own. Yes, you can. You need to browse my website page www.tcumaths. This is the page. On Statistics tab on the list, last but one, statistical table. On the right, click Table Normal Distribution. You reach to this page. On the left of this page, you see two radio buttons, self and manual. Default is self. Keep clicking this refresh button. It will generate the distributions randomly at this display panel here. The distribution with mean 9 and standard deviation 5. And you can generate more. In this self process, the mean, standard deviation, and value are generated randomly, but tail choices left is default. This is why it is showing only the left probability. If you switch this to upper tail, it will show right tail probability, and if you switch to middle, it will show the middle probability. If you switch from self to manual here in this button, then you need to supply your values here in these input boxes. First, let us work with this default mean 0 and standard deviation 1 and tail left with value -1. You see the left tail probability here. And if you change this tail choices to upper, we change this upper value to 1 here. We see the right tail probability here. Similarly, if we choose middle tail, we see the middle probability here. This is the probabilities in standard normal distribution with mean 0 and standard deviation 1. For other distribution, change the mean here and the standard deviation here. Let's change this to 200 and a standard deviation to 25 and tail choices to lower, that is left. And in the left value, if we input here 165, we see that the left tail probability from minus infinity to 165 in this distribution with mean 200 and standard deviation 2. If we change this tail choices to upper tail, and if we change this upper value to 225, and we see that upper tail probability here, probably from 225 to positive infinity in this distribution. The last, if we change this tail choices to middle, we see the middle probability here. The probability in the range from 165 to 225 in this distribution. Keep changing one or all values here in this left panel and enjoy playing the game of probability. Good luck and happy learning.